Hey guys, it's Jay. Welcome back to the channel. Guys, this is absolutely nuts. The Flash movie has hit theaters and admittedly there are mixed results, both good and bad, depending on the way you look at it. But the the overwhelming comments are that, at least in my circle of friends, let's just go ahead and call it the Batman movie. I mean, this is seriously how they're presenting it in the advertising and all the commercials. I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things. You know, obviously the whole movie itself has had multiple controversies, including the star, Ezra Miller. So, yeah, refocusing on Michael Keaton and the '89 Batman seemed to be a good choice at the time. But because of that, the focus on the toys really has been the 1989 Batman Batmobile, which shows up in the film, and a lot of people have been chomping at the bit to get this. Unfortunately, it did sell out a number of weeks ago, almost a month now, and a lot of people have been left in the lurch trying to figure out where they're going to get their edition of the Batmobile. Luckily, something was announced today on McFarlane Toys on Instagram, and I gotta tell you, it blew me away, and I think a lot of people are going to be super excited to find out exactly what's happening at McFarlane Toys. If you enjoy this type of content, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel. I post up to 2 episodes a week and hope you guys enjoy. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you guys will always be aware of when new episodes are posted. Guys, without further ado, let's take a deep dive into this and check out exactly what was announced by McFarlane Toys, and giving a huge shout out to my good friend, Emerald Knight Photo. John, thank you so much for this. It's amazing. Let's have a look. Guys, I want to give a huge shout out to John Mejia of Emerald Knight Photo, who gave me the heads up on this brand new announcement. John is an incredibly talented toy photographer, and of course, photographer in general. His work is absolutely amazing. I mean, he makes action figures look like they're alive. Definitely head over to Emerald Knight Photo on Instagram, guys, and take a look at some of his amazing work. You guys will not regret it. Head over there, give him a like and a follow. Tell him that Jay sent you. On the Mega J Retro exclusive Discord chat, I got a message from Emerald Knight Photo, and this was absolutely crazy, guys. You can find this announcement on their story by clicking on the McFarlane Toys logo. The first story is the 2-pack for Superman vs. Ultraman 2-pack. Immediately following that, McFarlane dropped a bombshell today. Check it out, everybody. We've heard you loud and clear. Due to popular demand, in the coming weeks, we'll be releasing a Batmobile and Batman combo based on the '89 Batman movie design. Stay tuned. Oh my gosh, everybody. Could this be the gold label Batman and Batmobile 2-pack that we've been waiting for? But I do have to say that there are a couple of things that I'm looking for that need to happen for this gold label to really take off, in my opinion, even though there are probably a lot of people out there who have been waiting for this to happen, considering the fact it's already been sold out in multiple locations, including Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, Best Buy, Amazon, Target. Even McFarlane has sold out the Batmobile. And trying to find this on GameStop, it's been delisted completely. Even a Google search shows nothing. This is absolutely crazy, guys, and just shows how popular the Batmobile really was and stays relevant to this day. After all, this is the most iconic Batmobile on film ever. The overall design and shape has inspired multiple iterations of the Batmobiles, but this one remains one of the pinnacles of design. This poster really does give you all the perspectives. I mean, take a look at this, guys. Specifications with performance data, and it even gives a note that some specifications are subjective. The special equipment includes retractable protective armor, weapon systems, instruments, aircraft type with onboard computer. Just crazy. This poster was printed all the way back in 1989 to celebrate the movie, and there are a lot of young kids who had this in their bedrooms, pinned to the wall. This is the type of stuff that dreams are made of, and of course, there had to be toys. Yes, indeed. Kenner was the first one to jump on the toy wagon, and man, did they ever make a whole bunch of wonderful additions to the Batmobile for the 1989 movie. Heading over to Facebook and batman-online.com, we can see that 2 versions of the 1989 Batmobile were actually produced. The first one being Dark Knight Collection version, which was a tie-in with the actual Batmobile movie. We can see the Batmobile branding here, along with Michael Keaton's face This was a beautiful version of the Batmobile and had some really great features, such as the gold-plated rims, the turbo-launching missile and pop-out exhaust flames, of course the machine guns which could be flipped over on the front of the Batmobile itself, and the canopy opened where you could sit a single passenger who was of course Batman. This leads us to the question: what will this new gold label Batmobile and Batman 2-pack offer to be worthy of the gold label brand? I gotta tell you, the first Batmobile, which was released by McFarlane, is absolutely a masterpiece. Yes, there are some drawbacks, especially one of the main criticisms being the gray canopy, which does slide forward and flip up for 2 different ways to insert Batman into the cockpit. It did leave a lot of fans wanting more and led many fans to customize this to actually try and match the color overall, which has had mixed results. That is one of the very first things that needs to be updated with this particular Batmobile. The shape of the Batmobile itself is pretty much bang on. I mean, there are certain details which could be fixed, but this is the difference between the Flash edition of the Batmobile and the original Batmobile from 1989. There are slight differences. I think the original Batmobile sits a little bit lower and has a slightly lower profile. The wheels are the next main point of contention, as the original Batmobile from 1989 had gunmetal gray wheels, not gold wheels, although I believe that the original thinking for those gold wheels actually came from the toy, which had created gold rims, as it was just much easier to produce for toys at the time. But with today's technology, having gunmetal rims for the Batmobile should not present too much of an issue when creating the gold label edition. The other major concern for many collectors will definitely be the flip-up machine guns. This is definitely going to be the hardest thing to pull off for McFarlane, as there seems to be a standing issue order to not produce any sort of weapons, guns specifically, with the DC Multiverse line. That doesn't seem to be a problem for companies like Hot Toys, who are major sticklers to detail and have included pretty much everything on their version of their Batmobile. But again, this is 4 times the cost of the Batmobile that we're talking about. Collectors are going to be very critical about the choice to omit these if that's actually something of an issue for McFarlane. The last thing which I think a lot of collectors are going to be critical about, in my opinion, is not 100% necessary, but I do see where a lot of people are coming from. There needs to be 2 seats in the Batmobile. I haven't seen the movie yet from The Flash, but I imagine there are actually 2 seats in the Batmobile from the Flash movie, and there can be no denying that the original Batmobile had 2 seats. When Batman rescued Vicky Vale and they escaped in the Batmobile, there was clearly 2 seats in the car. Vicky did not have to sit in Batman's lap, which would have been an interesting scene by far. But you can clearly see that there are actually 2 seats in the Batmobile. And I think that's something that many fans are going to want for a gold label edition of this Batmobile. Then we come to Batman himself. A gold label 2-pack with Batman and the Batmobile is a dream come true for many. But we do have to take into account that Batman has a very specific look in the '89 Batman film. Looking at him here is absolutely iconic. This is a very young version of Michael Keaton. Really did sell the movie. Many people were critical about the way Michael Keaton didn't have the physique of what a lot of people thought Batman should look like, but they rectified that with a rubber suit, body armor which was sculpted to look more like an Olympian, and the overall tights, which are form-fitted with additional padding to really fill out the spaces and give Michael Keaton that extra presence that he needed to pull off the role for Batman. The belt, of course, is iconic to the '89 Batman, so much so that NECA online is still selling the Batman utility belt, as I covered in an earlier video, which I have a link in the description below if you guys wish to see that. This is the Batman many people grew up with and expect when talking about Batman. The closest thing we've ever come to a Batman which looks the part is definitely the recent edition of Mezco Batman, which has been reviewed multiple times by so many different toy tubers, including our good friend Mad Hatter Reviews, who did have a critical view of this particular Batman. But after speaking with him recently, his opinion overall hasn't changed, but he does consider this to be a future classic down the line, considering the overall sculpt and look of the character, knowing full well that many people are going to want to flip this in the future, considering just how good it actually looks in real life, if you can get past all of its shortcomings. Of course, Mezco really had stepped it up with this particular Batman. I mean, the iconic look, the way he has that presence, the full metal body underneath the silicone frame. There was a lot to look forward to in terms of this Mezco figure, and who wouldn't? I mean, it took 3 years to get it to people. It was a hit and miss for some, but definitely will become a classic in the future. We know that the facial sculpts are not McFarlane's strong suit, but considering the fact that people are pairing this version with the current Flash Batmobile from McFarlane, it speaks volumes as to how people view their collectibles and what they really want in their toys. This edition of Flash Batman is close enough. Obviously, he's representing more of the Flash movie version, but when you say that you're actually producing something specifically for the '89 Batman movie design, we really are expecting something along the lines of Michael Keaton in 1989. And this is something which is going to excite a lot of people, but similarly, it's going to be a very critical step to get this right. Guys, this is an amazing announcement from McFarlane, and I can't wait to find out if he's got something lined up in promotional photos and prototypes, because this Batmobile from The Flash has really sparked the imagination of so many different fans, and I can't wait to find out what a gold label edition of this could possibly look like, especially when it's paired with the iconic 1989 Michael Keaton Batman. Yes! Yes, 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 yes! I mean, many of us have been talking about the fact that they probably will release a gold label edition of the Batmobile from the Flash movie, but who would have thought? Who would have thought that they might actually be doing a brand new Batmobile for 1989 Batman? Now, for me, and I think a lot of collectors, having a gold label edition of this is something where they would really like a lot more features, if you will. I mean, there were a few things on the Batmobile itself which kind of left, well, let's say a lasting impression on the fan base. I mean, the canopy alone pretty much discolored when it came out of the factory. I believe the thinking was that they would paint the inside so that they would not have to do two different types of plastic. I mean, the translucent plastic itself is actually strong enough, but I think they painted the inside of it with the same color plastic that they thought that they had, but because of the curing process, it ended up turning gray, and a lot of people were very, very upset at that. So that definitely has to be the one that is absolutely changed in the newest edition of the Batmobile. Now, the harder ones are going to be the pop-up machine guns, which are a huge feature for the Batmobile, considering they were used extensively in the movie. And after that, it's just tiny little things which could help make this Batmobile absolutely special, particularly if it has 2 passenger seats. That would be absolutely incredible, but I don't think that that's actually possible with the current iteration of the Batmobile as it is. Everything else is possible, and we'll have to see exactly what they plan for this next Batmobile. If it's just going to be a updated, recolored version of the existing Batmobile from The Flash, or something brand new, which would be absolutely insane. And I personally would be in line for that 100%. Then comes down to the 1989 Keaton Batman. That thing has a lot to live up to. I mean, there have been so many different Batmans released throughout the years, and this one has to hit the mark. It's got to. There's a lot to look at for this particular Batman. The physique, the facial sculpt, which of course is not McFarlane's strongest suit. The overall, cape, the way it drapes over the character. So many different things need to happen to make this character look exactly right. I'm okay with getting close. Getting close is enough for me, but some collectors are going to be very, very critical about this, particularly if it ends up being a gold label edition. Guys, let me know in the comment section below, are you excited about this new announcement that a possible gold labeled edition of Batman and the Batmobile 2-pack should be announced in the coming weeks? It's sooner than I expected, that's 100% sure. And you've seen the the Flash movie, and you've decided that it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be, and you could do without another Batmobile because it just didn't live up to your expectations in the film. Guys, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, guys, please do leave me a like. It really helps me out. And you're in the position to help out the channel, please consider checking out my Patreon page. It's MegaJRetro on Patreon. Guys, the patrons and channel members of the channel help me make wonderful episodes every single week, and I couldn't do without them. They are the best. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. It really is appreciated. Guys, if there is a brand new Batman Gold Label Edition and it's available on Entertainment Earth, I will have affiliate links in the description below on this video as well as future videos when they're finally announced. Stay tuned for that, guys, because this one is going to be one heck of a ride. I think a lot of people are going to be chomping at the bit to get this, and I really hope that Entertainment Earth will be able to get that. Please use those affiliate links, guys. That really does help out the channel, and I really, really do appreciate it. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'm Batman. Well, I'm not, but I'm waiting for you, Batman. I'm waiting for you. Don't let me down, Todd. Don't let me down. Good journey, everyone. Geek proud. I want to give a huge shout out to all my Patreon and channel member supporters. Thank you so much, everybody. It's thanks to your support that this channel continues to grow, and I really could not have done this without you. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for your support, guys. It really means a lot and really helps the channel to keep growing.